I am about to look up what happened to. They're saying he's 5. I'm to the 5-year-old, the 4-year-old. I don't know why they're saying he's 5. He's not. Is he 5 or 4? Can't make up their mind. Right, so let me see if I can get it to play.
ICE detains 5-year-old and father in Minnesota, lawyer says. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, officers detained a 5-year-old boy on Tuesday during an immigration enforcement operation, Minnesota school officials and the family's lawyer have said. Preschooler Liam Ramos was with
Hi,
his father,
Shadow.
named by the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, as Adrian Alexander Conjo.
It is going on 12, well, 11:18 now over here. 11:18. I'm just gonna look at what happened to the 5-year-old. Because they're saying about the 5-year-old and the family that got detained.
Arias, when Conjo Arias was approached by agents on his driveway. In a statement posted on X.
Yes,
External. The DHS said
AM.
ICE did not target a child, but was
It's not.
conducting an
It's not
operation
midday yet.
against his father, an illegal alien who abandoned his son when approached.
Pardon me. Sorry, just eating.
Zena Stenvik, the Columbia Heights Public Schools superintendent,
Can you hear
asked,
it?
"Why detain a 5-year-old? You can't tell me that this child is going to be classified as a violent criminal." In a post on X, ICE denied the child had been detained. A criminal illegal alien abandoned his child as he fled from ICE officers, and our officers ensured the child was kept safe in the bitter cold, the agency said.
How?
ICE made multiple attempts to get the family inside the house to take custody of
Yeah,
the
I'm
child.
getting it to read.
They refused to accept custody of the child. The father told officers he wanted the child to remain with him. DHS did not immediately respond to the BBC's request for comment.
Yeah, 5 hours ahead.
Photos provided to the BBC by the school district show a boy, identified as Liam Ramos, wearing a bunny-shaped winter hat, standing outside as an officer holds onto his backpack. The Columbia Heights Public Schools Authority described these as bystander photos. The district did not identify the individuals who took the pictures, referring to them as known and confirmed community members. Mark Prukosh, a lawyer representing the family, told a press conference on Thursday that Liam and his father were being held at a detention center in San Antonio, Texas, and attorneys were trying to contact them. Prukosh said the boy and his father had come to the U.S. in 2024 from Ecuador to seek asylum.
Oh yeah,
This family was not eluding ICE in any way, he said. They were following all the established protocols.
Yeah.
School officials said an agent asked the child to knock on the door of the home to see if anyone else was there.
So they can go in
The
and
boy
rush
had
in.
just arrived home from preschool at the time, Stenvik told the press conference. She said another adult living in the home asked to take the young boy inside, but was refused.
Why didn't they let him go in?
School board member Mary Granlund said she was on the scene and told immigration officials she could take Liam Ramos, but they still detained him. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, who visited Minnesota on Thursday amid ongoing protests against immigration enforcement, told reporters ICE had no choice because the father ran. "What are they supposed to do?" he said of ICE agents. "Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America?" He added, "If the argument is that you can't arrest people who have violated laws because they have children, that doesn't make any sense. Watch, father and 5-year-old did everything." Stenvik said that ICE had recently detained a total of 4 students in her school district, including a 10-year-old, and 2 17-year-olds. "The onslaught of ICE activity in our community is inducing trauma," Stenvik told reporters. The DHS maintains it is arresting the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens in an effort to restore public safety in Minnesota.
But they followed protocol, so how are they illegal if they came over from Ecuador and they followed all the right things and they did all what they're supposed to do? But you're there saying that it's mad. Right, they followed protocol to become citizens. This is what I was talking about yesterday. They follow protocols to become citizens. They tried to get the father by letting the child knock on the door so they can get the father. And then it seemed like they took a couple other young children with them, other 17 and another one. Just crazy. Doesn't make no sense.
At a DHS press conference on Tuesday, Gregory Bovino of the U.S. Border Patrol said, "Our operations are lawful, are targeted, and are focused on individuals who pose a serious threat to this community." The
A
Immigration
5-year-old
Enforcement
child,
Initiative,
4-year-old
dubbed
child is a threat.
Operation Metro Surge, has sparked outcry from residents in Minneapolis, St. Paul and other cities in the state. On the 7th of January, a federal officer fatally shot a woman named Renee Good in Minneapolis, sparking protests and condemnation from local and state officials. The Trump administration alleged the 37-year-old was using her vehicle as a weapon and the officer acted in self-defense. Also on Thursday, 7 Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives voted with Republicans to narrowly pass $1.2 trillion, £900 billion, in funding for government agencies, including ICE. The measure, which would allocate $64.4 billion to DHS, including $10 billion for ICE, was approved 220 to 207. It must still pass the Senate. Democrats who voted in favor said they did so to fund the Transportation Security Administration and Federal Emergency Management Agency, both under DHS.
So how is a 5-year-old posing a threat to the country? That's just interesting. Oh, I can't even breathe now. Well done. Where's the thing? What powers? What is ICE, and what other powers do they have? Do its agents have to use force? Yeah, let's find out what I want to know too. Can't looked at this part of the.
What is ICE and what powers do its agents have to use force? ICE and other federal officers stand at a Minneapolis intersection where protesters had gathered after the death of Renee Nicole Good. The fatal shooting of 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis on the 7th of January sparked protests across the U.S. and increased scrutiny of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, ICE. ICE has made thousands of arrests since U.S. President Donald Trump returned to the White House in January 2025, often in public places, leading to a number of clashes with protesters who oppose the agency's operations. A second fatal shooting, of 37-year-old Alex Pretty, happened in Minneapolis on Saturday the 24th of January. This incident involved Border Patrol, an immigration agency which works alongside ICE. What is ICE and when was it formed? ICE is taking the lead in carrying out the Trump administration's mass deportation initiative, which was a central promise of Trump's election campaign. The U.S. president has significantly expanded ICE, its budget and its mission since returning to the White House. The agency enforces immigration laws and conducts investigations into undocumented immigration.
Over here they're called
It also plays a role in removing undocumented immigrants from the U.S. ICE was formed as part of the Homeland Security Act of 2002, a response to the terror attacks on the 11th of September, 2001. The legislation created the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, with ICE as one of its subsidiary agencies. What powers do ICE agents have to arrest people? ICE sees its mission as encompassing both public safety and national security. However, its powers are different to those of the average local police department in the U.S. Its agents can stop, detain and arrest people they suspect of being in the U.S. illegally. However, legal permission to enter a home or other private space requires a signed judicial warrant.
Yeah, that police.
Agents can detain U.S. citizens in limited circumstances, such as if a person interferes with an arrest, assaults an officer, or ICE suspect the person of being in the U.S. illegally. Despite this, according to news organization ProPublica, external There were more than 170 incidents during the first 9 months of Trump's presidency in which federal agents held U.S. citizens against their will. These cases included Americans they had suspected of being undocumented immigrants. What powers does ICE have to use force? An ICE officer shot Renee Nicole Good while she was driving her car. ICE's use of actions involving force are governed by a combination of the U.S. Constitution, U.S. law and the DHS's own guidelines. Under the U.S. Constitution, law enforcement can only use deadly force if the person poses a serious danger to them or other people, or the person has committed a violent crime, said Chris Slobodin, director of the Criminal Justice Program at Vanderbilt University Law School. But the U.S. Supreme Court has historically granted broad leniency to officers making in-the-moment decisions without the benefit of hindsight. A DHS policy memo from 2023 states that federal officers may use deadly force only when necessary when they have a reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury to themselves or another person. In Minneapolis, U.S. citizen Good was killed while behind the wheel of her car. The Trump administration says the agent acted in self-defense, but local officials insist she posed no danger. During the political row that followed Good's death, Minnesota officials sued the Trump administration in an attempt to block the deployment of federal immigration agents in the state. Where does ICE operate? Typically, ICE operates inside the U.S., with some staffing abroad. ICE and other agencies have deployed hundreds of officers to cities like Los Angeles, Chicago and Minneapolis, in partnership with other federal law enforcement agencies. About 2,000 agents from ICE and other federal agencies were deployed Minneapolis as of the 14th of January, officials told BBC's U.S. partner CBS News. External. As well as an additional 800 U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, agents including Border Patrol staff. It is thought some agents have since left. Ecuadorian authorities confirmed that an ICE agent tried to enter its Minneapolis consulate on the 27th of January but was denied entry. Under the 1963 Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, consular premises are considered inviolable, and Ecuador, whose president is an ally of Trump, has filed an official complaint. Why are ICE agents going to the Winter Olympics in Italy, and will they be at the Super Bowl? Milan Mayor Beppe Sala reacted angrily to the news that ICE agents would be sent to Italy to help support American security operations during the Winter Olympics, which begin on the 6th of February. This is a militia that kills. Of course they're not welcome, he told Italian radio. It is common for DHS and U.S. domestic law enforcement agencies to provide security support at major international events. In this case, U.S. officials insist that the role of Homeland Security investigations, part of ICE, will be strictly supportive, working with the Diplomatic Security Service and Italian authorities to vet and mitigate risks from transnational criminal organizations. It would obviously not conduct immigration enforcement operations outside the U.S., government spokeswoman Tricia McLaughlin told the BBC. Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani confirmed that ICE personnel would not appear on Italian streets. However, ICE agents are expected to be on duty at the Super Bowl football game between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots in California on the 8th of February. McLaughlin told the independent newspaper. External. That the DHS would work with local and federal partners to ensure the Super Bowl is safe for everyone involved, as we do with every major sporting event, including the World Cup. Those who are here legally and are not breaking other laws have nothing to fear, she said. What is Border Patrol? Border Patrol is a uniformed branch of law enforcement that is part of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, agency. It typically operates near the southern border and at other points of entry, but under Trump now also works in the interior, helping ICE agents to conduct immigration stops in major cities. During the administration of Trump's predecessor Joe Biden, the numbers of immigrants arriving in U.S. cities far from the border spiked. U.S. citizen Pretty, an intensive care nurse, was shot by Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis. The administration initially defended the officers involved. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said Pretty was shot because he was brandishing a gun. Senior presidential advisor Stephen Miller called him a would-be assassin. Local authorities denied this, adding that the gun was legally registered, he was not brandishing it, and that Pretty was shot after the firearm was removed. There is no sign of a gun in Pretty's hand, according to analysis of the available video by BBC Verify. Unpicking the second Minneapolis shooting frame by frame. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt later struck a more muted tone, and said a full investigation would be carried out. Trump himself said his administration would de-escalate a little bit in Minnesota, while Miller acknowledged that the agents involved in the incident may not have followed protocol. The two agents who were involved in the shooting have been placed on administrative leave. Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino was also expected to leave Minneapolis, being replaced by Trump's border czar Tom Homan.
Yeah,
What happens to people who are detained by ICE?
Or somewhere else.
The scale of Trump-era deportations have been significant. The administration said it had deported 605,000 people between the 20th of January and the 10th of December, 2025. It also said 1.9 million immigrants had voluntarily self-deported, following an aggressive public awareness campaign encouraging people to leave the country on their own to avoid arrest or detention. An immigrant who encounters ICE can face a variety of outcomes. Sometimes an individual is temporarily held, then released after questioning. In other circumstances, ICE will detain and transfer that person to a larger detention facility, of which there are several throughout the U.S. While many immigrants continue to fight for legal status while detained, if they are unsuccessful, they may ultimately be deported. About 65,000 people were in ICE detention as of the 30th of November, 2025, according to data obtained by the Transactional Records Access.
Yeah, because that one was crazy because he was off duty. So it seems like they take forceful actions. So they have no limit to what they can do. In other words, like because like on here they make it sound all nice and pretty, but what we've seen of what ICE do is completely the opposite of that. Like because like they're like they it's like they can just kick down. Like I said, they're kicking down at the door, entering doesn't But yeah, I don't think they told them about Keith Porter.
Clearinghouse Immigration Project, a compendium of government data from Syracuse University.
And they're not speaking on
Immigration lawyers have told the BBC that, once ICE detains an individual, it can sometimes take days for families or lawyers to find out where they are.
They keep bringing them up.
What opposition have ICE agents met? People demonstrate against ICE during a vigil honoring Renee Nicole Good. Many communities have pushed back when ICE and partner agencies like the Border Patrol carry out operations. It is now common for residents to film ICE agents as they carry out arrests. Some encounters.
And they wonder why we don't work with them in these protests or anything else for that matter. Yeah, because that means they're out to unalive you. That's basically the whole objective. That's why I call them enforcers. They are enforcers. They are enforcers. It's like they are not their legal stance. They can go as far as they want to go, right? The pregnant lady where the guy stuck his knee on her back. They lied her on her pregnant belly. She was pregnant. They lied her on the floor. She was pregnant, and he put her foot in her back. I don't know what came out of that. I need to find out what happened to that lady as well, because these are as examples of how far they can go.
Between ICE and the public have become aggressive or violent. During ICE operations in Chicago, Illinois, a collective of media organizations sued the Border Patrol. They alleged agents used improper force against journalists, religious leaders and protesters. A federal judge sided with the group, before an appeals court overturned the decision. Good and Pretty are not the only people injured by gunfire during an immigration enforcement operation. It emerged that an ICE officer shot a Venezuelan man in the leg in Minneapolis in the days after Good's death.
And this one they
The
spoken
DHS
about,
said
the
federal
Venezuelan
officers
guy.
were conducting a targeted traffic.
So some is undocumented. The people protesting and the news only talk about pretty built. Yeah, built folks. Oh yeah, and they did speak on the pregnant lady situation like that either. Both of those stories came and went. Yeah, I'm gonna actually try find. Um, I don't know. Might have to put. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I promise him, but there's so many videos. So many people have documented so much things. The one where they come out from the detention center, the stories told. Um, what's it? There's so many stories. Told. There's even one of a young lady. Her mum got detained on. I can't remember which part it was. The young lady is scared. She's traumatized. Literally, she's traumatized because as she's walking, you can see her looking around. She's looking around. Um, her mum got detained or something. I gotta find the story because there is stories like that as well.
Stop when a Venezuelan national was shot after resisting arrest and assaulting an officer.
But they would use
There were also
assaulting, but
2
sometimes they
incidents in
don't
Los
assault them.
Angeles in October in which agents shot at drivers, the Los Angeles Times reported. DHS said in both instances that the drivers had threatened the officers with their vehicles. ICE officers, and other immigration agents, have also been criticized for wearing masks while carrying out their operations.
Because to hide their identity.
DHS officials have defended the practice, saying it protects agents from doxing, being identified online, or harassment. Where do Americans stand on ICE and deportations? Americans have a complicated view of Trump's immigration enforcement plans, polling suggests. A little more than half believe some level of deportation is necessary, an October 2025 survey from the nonpartisan Pew Research Center suggested. That's roughly the same number as Pew found the previous March. But the same poll suggests that Americans have concerns about Trump's methods. It found that a majority of U.S. adults, 53%, believed the Trump administration was doing too much to deport undocumented immigrants. About 36% backed the approach.
What about the documented ones?
A CBS News poll carried out by between the 14th and the 16th of January. External. After Good's death but before Pretty's, suggests opposition may have been growing. It found that 61% of respondents said that ICE was being too tough when stopping and detaining people, while 58% disapproved of Trump's handling of immigration as a whole.
Trump says very dangerous. Trump says very dangerous for UK to do business with China. This is like he's doing business with China. Yeah, their enforcement's has been doing a lot because they're breaking glasses while people's in the car. They're detaining people that are citizens. They're unaliving people. They're It's like a war zone. It's like a war zone basically. I mean, if I have time, I don't know. Probably won't have to. Maybe I might have time. I might have to come back later. So Trump tests his boundaries of his power. Yeah, I think we. I think. Let me see. Let me go back to the little boy. Let me see if I can get back to him. His story. ICE arresting children. This is what I was talking about the other day. Right. Let me see. ICE arresting the children. That's even shouldn't even happen because some of them are minors and stuff. They're talking about the preschooler. They bring up Ramos a lot. Let me see if there's any ICE arresting children. Let me see how many children has they arrested. The ICE deportating citizens. Where is it? You see, I can find a paper that I can use. Okay, how many children detained? I'm hoping this is not gonna. Hoping this one will play. Because I wonder if they got a time from last year. From last year till now, how many children exactly have they detained?
Keep factually independent.
Hold on, let me see.
Whether you agree or disagree with the analysis below, these conversations matter for democracy. We don't take money from political groups, even if $6,996 raised. 2026 goal, $60,000.
Is it going to give me the thing?
The available documents and analyses do not provide a definitive count of how many children were detained or handcuffed during ICE operations in 2024. Public reporting from ICE and oversight bodies focuses on overall arrests, removals, and custody of unaccompanied minors rather than a simple tally of children physically restrained during enforcement actions. Multiple reviews and reporting gaps, highlighted by a Government Accountability Office recommendation to strengthen ICE data reporting, mean that no authoritative, publicly released figure exists in the materials supplied here. 1. Why the headline question can't be answered with the provided records, data gaps exposed. The primary obstacle to answering the question is that the sources supplied do not record or publish a specific metric for children detained or handcuffed during ICE operations in 2024. ICE public releases present aggregate enforcement and removal statistics for fiscal quarters and discuss custody populations, but they stop short of documenting the number of minors physically restrained during field operations.
So there's some minors that's not documented.
The GAO explicitly concluded ICE's reporting on arrests, removals, and detentions varied over time and recommended stronger reporting practices, underscoring a structural absence of the required breakdown in available federal data. 2. What ICE published for FY 2024, broad enforcement counts, not the detail you asked for. ICE's enforcement and removal operations reports for Q2 and Q3 of FY 2024 emphasize an increase in enforcement actions and removals compared to the previous year and present aggregate detention metrics, yet they do not disaggregate incidents by whether children were handcuffed or detained during operations.
So it's repeating itself.
These releases therefore inform about enforcement intensity but
it's not giving me the exact number. Let me see if I can get the exact number of children they held. Exact number being like unaccompanied children. All right, these are unaccompanied children to the detention center. Because remember, there was a picture of the children in the detention center. Let me see if this is going to explain. I'm trying to find one that is explaining. Let's try these guys. Because I can't do it on the big screen. Let's see. Oh,
cannot be used.
Still showing that one. Okay, let's go to this one.
Here's how many ICE and CBP agents allegedly preyed on children. Add Yahoo as a preferred source to see more of our stories on Google. The Trump administration pledged to deport violent criminals, but instead, some of them have been on the payrolls of the federal government's most aggressive agencies. ICE and U.S. Customs and Border Protection employed at least 30 people with sexual and violent criminal histories in recent years, according to a report published Monday by the Ohio Immigrant Alliance with research from the Pacific Anti-Fascist Collective. At least 20 of those individuals committed offenses with underage victims, according to the report.
Like the guy who killed Keith
the 30 listed individuals have been charged with a wide litany of crimes, including gunpoint sexual assault, child sex trafficking, aggravated assault, robbery, rape, torture, kidnapping, sexual abuse of a minor, and possession and production of child sexual abuse materials. Their transgressions occurred between 2015 and 2025, with the bulk of abuse happening within the last 2 years. The delinquent officers include Minnesota-based ICE agent Alexander Stephen Back, who was arrested in November for allegedly soliciting sex from a minor, in a multiagency sting referred to as Operation Creep. When he was arrested, he said, "I'm ICE." Boys Bloomington Police Chief Booker Hodges told reporters at the time of Back's capture. Elsewhere in the state, in June, Homeland Security Investigations Special Agent Timothy Ryan Gregg attempted, coerced, and enticed a minor victim in order to make child pornography, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office, District of Minnesota. The majority of the listed offenders were located in Arizona, where at least 9 agents committed sex crimes. Several of the offenders were charged, caught, or sentenced within the last year. The most recently convicted officer within the folds of the Grand Canyon State was 30-year-old Aaron Thomas Mitchell, who was sentenced in March to 27 years in prison for kidnapping and raping a teenage girl.
Oh, wow.
Months later, in May, Yuma-based CBP agent Raymond Marquez was arrested and charged on multiple counts for abusing a 16-year-old participant in the state's Customs and Border Protection Explorer program. Later that summer, another Arizona-based border agent, Bart Conrad Uger, was slammed with 24 felony charges, which included 1 count of attempted child sex trafficking and 6 counts related to his...
But then the whole idea of why Trump started all this, or whatever he started, was to stop human trafficking, child trafficking, human trafficking, that's human trafficking, and other stuff. But it seems like most of the agents have book. They all seem like they've done something.
Attempts to solicit prostitutes. There is a dangerous culture within these agencies, and that is evidenced by this horrifying list, said Ohio Immigrant Alliance Executive Director Lynn Tramont in a statement. Congress must stop giving ICE and the Border Patrol a blank check to commit crimes against the public. DHS must answer for its faulty hiring, vetting, and re-verification processes. The public cannot trust law enforcement agencies that employ so many dangerous criminals, and refuse to police their own ranks. But the agency's seemingly endemic violence will likely only be exacerbated by the Trump administration's slapdash recruitment tactics, which involve a wartime recruitment hiring spree that aims to take on as many as 10,000 new officers in the coming year. Part of that strategy includes spending millions on social media advertisements targeted at gun rights advocates, UFC enthusiasts, and manosphere podcast audiences. Meanwhile, AI-induced slip-ups have sent many new recruits into field offices without proper training, according to law enforcement officials who spoke with NBC News last week.
So the majority of agents have books, and they're not vetting them properly, and some of them has either had a criminal record or some type of something going on with them. So it is interesting. That was a very good information. As for Ramos, I'm trying to find where, because he's not good, Ramos, right now. They took his hat, that blue hat, what he had on his head, and they took the rucksack what he had on him. So he's not good, that little boy, right now. He's not good at all. Like I said, he will have problems with people in uniform because of what happened to him. He'll have definitely. Let me see. Family in the detention centers. Let me see if I can get to that part. Family in detention centers. They're talking about when they entered from Ecuador. See? So, yeah. Oh, they said, I thought he was 4, but he's actually 5. Yeah, still young. That is still young. Mars ICE agents taking toddler. See, the mask is to hide them. There's to hide their faces, like they say, so that people can't go look them up. People can't look them up. Oh, that was 2 months ago. That's old. Okay. All right. So Ramos and is still in detention. Him and his dad. Let me see. Let me double check if they're still in detention. They still got them. Cause I know they still got them. Let me see if I can. Oh, I'm doing it wrong now. Let me see. Let me just find his name and find if he's, because they have him in detention. Let me see. Liam. Oh, this one is not touching him. I forget. Liam Ramos. Liam Ramos. Oops, where is it? Ramos. Let me see what's going on with this boy. Because somebody must be chasing up the thing. So that was 17 hours. Let me see the update on him. See, I know they're going to repeat themselves on the thing. Let me see. Oh, they're trying to get justice for the boy. Oh. Come on, come on. I was trying to find out information on what's going on with Liam Ramos. Is it working? No. That one's taking long. Oh, they blocked the deportation of him. The judge temporarily blocked the deportation. He's so young. Oh, if this one don't play, I might have to come back. Or I might have to put in a video. I'm trying to find the
Stay up to date with notifications from The Independent.
Okay.
Border Patrol chief blames Democrats and journalists for...
Oh, let's go back to that one. Okay. Come now.
Border Patrol chief blames Democrats and journalists for Minneapolis chaos. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the immediate deportation of 5-year-old Liam Conjo Ramos and his father, Adrian Alexander Conjo Arias, following their detention by immigration officials. The father and son were taken into federal custody from their family's driveway in Minnesota last week and subsequently sent to an Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) detention center in Texas. The judge's order prevents their removal or transfer outside the judicial district while their lawsuit against the administration proceeds. A viral image of Liam, wearing a Spider-Man backpack, during his father's arrest sparked widespread outrage, highlighting the impact of the administration's immigration enforcement actions in Minneapolis. The family, originally from Ecuador, is seeking asylum in the United States, with their attorney stating they are pursuing a legal pathway.
No, that wasn't a lot. But yeah, so the judge wants to block it. But the ICE agent, the one that they said they fired, I don't even think I don't know. I just thinking he's not fired like that. I think they're doing it so the public can be thinking, okay. I mean, they put another man in his place, but it's still ICE is going to do the same thing ICE will do because they're underneath a different captain. That's all it is. So, you know, I'm just bringing information on the ICE situation, the Liam Ramos situation, the temporarily blocked his deportation, and you know and we're finding out what they can do. We found out that most of the ICE agents have a lot of crimes against minors, quite a few of them, in fact. The Venezuelan man, strange, I know, I don't remember them talking about a Venezuelan man being shot. I don't remember that. I haven't heard of that. But I'm gonna look and see if I can find information on the Venezuelan guy. So there's Keith, there's Rene Good, there's Alex Pretty, and somebody else. But I knew there was quite some other people that they have actually unalive. So you know, because with these things, like I said, with certain forces, they take over and they do a lot. And I'm sure there's other names. There's the woman that got unalived in the car. Once again, they called it self-defense. Sometimes it's not self-defense. The people be trying to get away from them. They'll be running from them. There be whatever. Even there's one where a guy, he speaks a little bit. He speaks Spanish, and the ICE agent is dragging him. The guy's trying to find out his number so he can call his family. He's asking him, "Do you have a number?" So he can let the family know that he's been taken by the ICE agent. There's like I said, there's people who's been to the detention centers, come out of detention center, talking about how they were treated. The Somali girl that was assaulted, I did put a small video up. I might have to re-put her up. She was assaulted. Her and her friend was assaulted. Trump said he's coming for Somaliland. He's saying a lot of things like it's. But yeah, yeah, the children that's been detained, some of them has been undocumented, some is undocumented, some is documented. Not all is being documented. So, yes. But yeah, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come off as it's hit 12 here. I know it's like 42 minutes. I can't do an hour on this one because I can't show the screen. And the audio is good, but it's good to see the visuals as well. I have to come back again to do more because ICE is one of those ones where you have to know. Oh yes, that reminds me. Hold on. SoFlo has done a video saying what to do when the Homeland Security or whoever comes to your place. Let me see if I can find his video. See if I can find his video or his live where he was explaining about what to do if ICE or any of them approaches. I think. Let me see if I could find it. He did have it here. Let me see. Oh, here it is. I might show it again.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI.
Welcome to another U.S. immigration video. If you've never been here before, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on this channel. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has gone to many workplaces over the past year. As y'all know, things have taken a turn. Things have been heating up, and they're very hot right now on the immigration front. Both at high-profile companies like Target and Hyundai, as well as businesses that don't grab headlines, mom and pop's restaurants, wherever people might work, they have gone there. Workplace immigration enforcement operations are not new. ICE has been inside of people's place of employment before. So these workplace immigration enforcement operations, they are not new, and they have occurred under many president administrations. For the people who are going to say, Trump ain't the first one to do it, so why y'all got a problem with it? Well, it's not new, according to the American Council of Immigration, but these efforts have proliferated as part of President Trump's efforts to increase the detention and deportation of unauthorized non-citizens, as it was written. Just a little FYI, over 600,000 persons have been deported so far under Donald Trump, and there are thousands in lockup right now, awaiting their fate. So the agency's aggressive tactics this past year, especially when agents make their presence known in public areas in or near an employee, such as a parking lot, this has had a chilling effect on businesses in areas where ICE has been operating. Because, you know, you show up at a place, you see ICE circling the parking lot. A lot of people just don't want to go into that place, right? Well, people will go in, but those who are sympathetic to the immigration or immigrant community and or might have family members that they are shielding, even though they themselves are perfectly legal, which, by the way, may I remind you, is a crime. To shield an illegal immigrant from being found, from being arrested, to give them shelter. Oh, they made that a serious crime under this administration. So you go places, you see them, they're circling the parking lots of different places, waiting for the employees to come out. Legal and HR experts are advising employees to prepare for any potential visitation involving ICE to their establishment, not just a raid or conducting operations near a work site. This might include, for instance, an audit of the I-9 employee eligibility verification form that must be completed by employers and those they hire. So they might show up at your place of employment and they might say, well, how many of your employees here are immigrants? And if your boss has 10 employees and 5 are immigrants, and he says, well, 5 are, they will probably say, could you bring us the 5 who are citizens? We're going to separate them from the other 5. And then we want to see the other 5 who are immigrants. And then they'll probably ask them to show the proper paperwork, the I-9 employee eligibility verification form for the other 5 employees. If they're unable to do so, there could be some problems. So they are basically telling all the bosses, I guess, that being prepared ahead of an audit or a raid can greatly reduce the anxiety and the panic and the risk, said Assistant General Counsel at HR Outsourcing Solutions firm. That preparation should be confined to higher ups. It should involve all employees. It should not be confined to just the higher ups. It should involve all the employees. Get all your employees together and let your employees know what the possibilities are and have your contingency plan put together, including your frontline workers, because they may be the first point of contact once ICE arrives at your establishment, said Shannon Stevenson, who is a partner at labor and employment law firm Fisher Phillips. The firm provides clients with a preparedness checklist for ICE audits and for ICE raids. Now, every workplace should designate an on-site manager to be an immigration point person, he said. That means when they come in, they have a million questions about immigration and yours or employees' immigration status. This is the person they talk to. That way, you could see the confusion is lessened and they won't be standing there saying, I don't know, and they're going from person to person, because maybe they'll get frustrated and just start grabbing people. Now, this person should ask to see any warrants from ICE agents and email a copy of that to the employer's immigration attorney. That attorney should quickly review the scope of the access that the warrant allows. Right. So if the warrant doesn't allow them to be doing all that they're doing, then you can stop them. So if ICE first approaches an employee who's not the immigration point person, that employee should say they don't have authority to grant them access to the business and let them know that they will get someone. In all cases, she said, be respectful. Don't argue with them. Just be respectful. Listen, I don't have the right. They're going to fire me if I do. I don't have the right to grant you access, but I will get someone who will handle all your questions and queries and whatnot.
Hold on. Let's go a break. Hold on, because we need this information's needed, okay? So people know.
There's a locked glass door between you and the agents before they have gained entry. You might ask them to hold up their warrant and you take a picture of it through the locked glass door. You don't have to open the door to see the warrant. A lot of times people open the door to see a warrant. They say, we got a warrant in hand. We did show it to you, and they'll barge their way in. ICE doesn't want a warrant. ICE doesn't need a warrant to access areas that are open to the public, such as lobbies and parking lots. So guess where you'll see them? They can be at your workplace, in the lobby of your workplace. They can be at your establishment, in the parking lot. No warrant needed. But to gain access to non-public parts of the workplace, such as the employee's break room, private offices, or warehouse floors, they do need either the express consent of an employer or a judicial warrant, which will have the court's name at the top of that paper and a judge's signature at the bottom of that paper. The judicial warrant is a court order, said an attorney and partner in the labor and employment practice, that a judicial warrant is a court order. It should specify the scope of ICE's search, which people they're looking for, and what property may be seized, as well as which ICE agent may look. Can't just be 20 of them running up in your business when it's only one whose name or two whose names are on the warrant.
Okay, Shadow.
Which floor they might go to, which buildings or campuses they might go to, all should be specified in this judicial warrant. Instead of a judicial warrant, an agent might present what's called an administrative search warrant that is signed by ICE officials, but that is not a court order. It may authorize an arrest if the individual is encountered in a place that ICE can lawfully be, but it doesn't give ICE any greater right to enter public areas of a workplace than they would have with no warrant at all. McDonald's advised to employees, do not consent to entry into non-public areas unless company counsel confirms a valid court-issued warrant requires it. A recent AP News story reported that a leaked ICE memo asserts that the agency has the right to enter people's homes without a judicial warrant if it has an administrative warrant to arrest someone with a final order of removal. But neither McDonald's nor Stevenson, two attorneys, sees that memo having any bearing on the obligations and the rights of employers when they are interacting with ICE. In my view, it doesn't change the core workplace advice. What the memo changes is that officers may claim expanded authority more often. So, employers should train staff to follow a simple script. Request the judicial warrant, get a copy, call the response team, counsel, and avoid consenting beyond the warrant's scope. Indeed, he said in an email, ICE has already tried to improperly enter work sites without judicial warrants. Trained employers are always pushing back on warrantless entries. Neither ICE nor the Department of Homeland Security has responded to a request for comments on that issue about them entering without warrants. Now, non-public areas should be visible and clearly marked by signs that say, for example, staff only, or private, or no public access, or employees only allowed, etc. And employees should make sure that locked doors to the non-public areas aren't left propped open. Should an ICE agent without authorization gain entry to a private area?
What if you can create your own website by setting?
Hold on, it's coming again. Hold on.
The New York Attorney General Office advises the employer's designee to say, I do not consent to your search or to your entering into this private area. If agents search anyways, the New York Attorney General's office recommends not trying to physically stop them. Instead, if possible and without interfering with the officer's actions, document what happened, including whom you spoke to and what you said and what their response was. So if you told them, I do not consent to you searching this area, or accessing this area is for employees only, sir, and they go ahead and push past you and go in anyways, take your phone out, videotape, document, ask for their name, and on the record, while recording, say repeatedly, I am telling you again, like I told you before you came in here, I do not consent to you searching here, and this is supposed to be off limits to you because this is for employees only. ICE may provide a list of what the agents take with them after a raid is complete, but an employee accompanying ICE during its operation should also try to record what has been taken for the company. It can be done with a pen and a pad, or it can be done using your phone camera if they don't object to you doing it. Because again, you don't want to be fighting them. Some states may require that you seek ICE permission to record. But even if yours doesn't, ask before you do it. You mind if I record? Safety comes first. If you feel you're putting yourself at risk by recording, then just don't do it. Given how ambiguous security cameras are inside and outside of workplaces, the employees and employers may have footage of the search. So I guess a wise thing to do would be to install cameras inside of your workplaces then. And then there's contact information for the employer's immigration point person should be available to everyone. If employees have company ID badges, the information should be on a card that can be kept with the badge. In addition, employers might also order and distribute what's called red cards from the Immigration Legal Resource Center. The red card does two things. It reminds everyone of their constitutional rights under the 4th and 5th Amendment, and it offers examples of what an individual can say to protect those rights, or they can simply show the card to a federal agent. Griffin also recommend that employers have employees update their emergency contact information so that if a raid does occur, employers can get in contact with the employees' preferred contacts. Should there be an apprehension, the employer can ask for information about where the person is being taken. So I hope that helps somebody. This right here, title headline is What to Do if ICE shows up at your workplace or place of employment. We'll leave this video here for now. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button and stay close to us as we stay close to and bring.
See, that's good information, you know. That's good information to know because if you don't know what your rights are, if you're at work and they turn up and because I've seen on several, I don't know if you can hear me, I've seen on several videos that the employers is not letting the ICE agents into the establishment, and sometimes and they're not serving them, they're not giving them food or certain things. So yeah, it makes sense because like that people need to know certain stuff. I think next one people should be finding out is what are your rights when they come to your house. Like, you know what I mean? Because like I said, the one with the DoorDash lady running to the lady's house to get away from the ICE agents. What is her rights? Because it seems like they are allowed to do just about anything. They're allowed to enter houses. They're allowed to, you know, basically like from the video before, from the article before, they are allowed to do a lot of stuff. They have a kind of a lot of power. The administration has given them a lot of power, so which they have taken to a whole next level. You know, unaliving people at the same time, the use of force. Yeah, it's I feel that most of them are probably either I would say retired policemen. Remember Dean Kane, Superman, was also saying to people to join ICE because he's one of the ICE agents. You see the women at the protest talking to one of the ICE agents. He definitely doesn't look like a white man. He sounds a bit. He speaks with a Spanish tongue, and because of how fast they're recruiting. Okay, that reminds me. Let me go to one of my videos. The recruiting thing. That's another thing. The way they're recruited. The way they are recruited is another thing too, which the lady on the video that I did, she talks about the recruiting situation. So it could be anybody.
There is a movie called Civil War I. Feel it was showing what was coming to America. Please listen till the end. Also go and watch it.
Let me see, I could get to.
Okay. What kind of American are you?
Now think about this really hard. Does this sound familiar to what is happening right now? Because remember, just like Jesus puts his prophecies in the Bible, Satan puts it in TV shows and television, all kinds of media. They have to show us before they do it. Now we have ICE agents on the streets acting like a rogue military force, not only detaining illegal immigrants, but also U.S. citizens. Not only detaining them, but shooting them. These people are literally trained for 8 weeks. Police officers are trained for 12 to 27 weeks. They are trained in this short amount of time so that they can keep pumping them out. And this is why we have what is going on right now. Because these people are given very little training and are given guns. With the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, they were given $75 billion. That is more than the $50,000 sign-on bonus. And if they quit before their time is up, then they have to pay that back. So best believe that's going to give them incentive to stay, even when they realize they don't want to be a part of it anymore. They're going to be stuck in it. Kristi Noem is telling people to carry their papers to prove their citizenship in Nazi Germany. And now Trump is talking about implementing the Insurrectionist Act, which would do what? Pause the midterm elections. And I believe he will do this for that reason, so that his ego isn't crushed. Remember, in the movie Civil War, the president was a tyrannical, power-hungry dictator who suppressed journalists because he didn't like what they were saying and ordered airstrikes.
Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it right here at present. Okay. I might have to, I don't know. I might have to come live again. I still got to do Dark Waters, but I won't be able to do it today because there's not enough time in the day sometimes. I just thought that I look into what happened to the little boy as well. That's the important one. The important thing is knowing what are your rights when the ICE agents come to you. I feel even me over here, I need to know my rights. Things could change over here too. Okay, so you need to know your rights. I don't know. I think you can track the ICE agents as well, but I don't know. I'm not too sure about that one. I don't think you can track them, but there's, they definitely are interesting people, interesting men. The men who's taken on this, yes, and like I said, they have book against them. The one who killed Keith Porter, well, the one who killed, who unalive Keith Porter, he has a charge for underage minor. I think it's SA. I'm not sure. I can't remember what it was, but I might have to try to do my own video on it. Might have to. Like I said, Information Man has a lot of information over there, but I want to bring it to here too because I know people are thinking, well, what's Trump's is, but he's also burning the ones who's also put him in power. All right, he's hitting the ones who's in power. He put him in power. He's hitting the ones who's so-called immigrants. He's hitting, it's in your face, basically. It's in your face. Even like I said, with the Patriot, I might have to look at the Patriot game. You know what I mean? Because I know that often happens in America as well. But this one seems different to the other ones, maybe. Well, I don't know. Or maybe I'm speculating. Like you said, overthinking things. But I don't know. When I'm going live again, I'll let you know, or I'll pop up and you guys put your notifications on. This will affect a lot of people. A lot of people in hindsight. I think Keith Porter is obviously born there. He's not an immigrant. He is a citizen of America, right? So, you know, you have to look at the bigger picture of certain things. I mean, I'm not, yeah, you look at the bigger picture sometime. You have to look at the bigger picture. Even I have to try and go back to the Venezuelan content because there is a regime trying to form in Trinidad right now. Prices of stuff is going up more than it was before. I mean, Trinidad was expensive before, now it's gone up. So there is a knock-on effect from Venezuela, what happened with Maduro as well. So yeah, I will try and make time. I have to do it when my young one's not around, right? Because it's easier. I have to do it on screen as well because I think that people when you see it in visual, you understand it, you get it as well. And yes, the newspapers, yes, they can put it up. Notice they haven't brought up Keith Porter at all. They haven't spoken about him. Some news media have spoken about him. Not all news media have spoken about him. His daughter's come out to talk. His family has come out to talk. He's well loved. Keith Porter was well loved by his family. So yes, Alice Pretty, that is tragic as well. Even him, he stood up to ICE. There is a video of him floating around, spitting at ICE and on the front line. So you know, there's a lot. So it's not really edged at whatever, as people say, black and brown people. No, it seems like it's across the board now at this point because it's affecting a lot. It affects a lot of people. It's affecting a lot of people. It's taking a lot of people's lives out. So you could be there. You can have sovereignty. I don't even know whether that override your sovereignty because now there's a new power there. So that might even override your sovereignty as a person, as okay, as a person, a human being. First and foremost, you're a human being. First and foremost, you're a citizen. You're whatever else. So you know, but like I said, even I have to look over here on my side. What's going on my side too? Because they can possibly bring that over here. And lots of people is questioning. Now that this is going on in America, does it mean it's going to happen in England, the ICE situation? Because, you know, there's people protesting against immigrants. Some of the people that they are talking about, those in the hotels, but there's ones who's literally working, bringing money to the economy as well. You know what I mean? They work, they're doing their thing. So I don't know, it's no balance. There's no balance in anything. So I'm gonna leave it right here. I might throw in the same thing on a few lives, but it's just to drive home what is happening. Like the children is a big thing. I feel the children to me is a big thing. Remember what happened when the Haitians was crossing, I think it was Texas. Half of them didn't make it, didn't get shipped out on planes. Some of them disappeared. Right? Some of them disappeared. So my question is, right, so some of these children that is being detained, do you know who is detaining them? One. There are two, like there is strange people who will be in these places. You know, people are weird. You know, you hear these things on. Sorry, I said I was gonna go with it. We hear these things in stories and stuff like that. Like, you know, it's very deep. Clockers, we can go down all types of wormholes on this subject, but yeah, the main fact that how some of the children is not being documented. Some of the children are not all of the children are in the detention. The ones they got in the detention center, Ramos now, luckily they're not deporting him. But I will try to find the ones who has come out of the detention center. You don't need to hear those ones that come out of the detention center. The protesters on the front line, the boy who nearly lost his eye on the front line when the agent shot him in the face. I mean, powed him in the face. He almost lost an eye. They dragged him by the hoodie. He almost got unalive by them dragging the hoodie from the back. You know, your airways can get blocked and all that. There's a lot. Okay, so I will try to come up, obviously, right, yeah, right, I'm a mummy as well, like, so it's a bit difficult. I have to work around the little one. But with that said, oh yeah, and other things as well. With that said, thank you, Shadow, for coming through. And I'll see you in the next one. Please leave a comment underneath the live. Please be respectful. Right, be respectful. If I see somebody saying madness underneath about anything, I'm going to have to take you out. There ain't no questioning, there ain't no considering, nothing. Because they're people, they're humans. There is criminals amongst immigrants, yes. There's criminals in everywhere. Once again, every nation has criminals. Every nation has criminals. It's not just one specific type of people. So, you know what I mean? But with that said, I'm going to go and I'll be coming back soon and I'll let you know. Hopefully I'll let you know. Or I'll just do random pull up. With that said, I'll see you later. Take care. Bye.